Um, I'm here to talk about something that is, I have no data to support this. I have my own meandering experience. I hope to make it relevant to all of you because I think there is a voice for the future here somewhere because uh, a lot of people around me in my generation are living it right now, living the dream. I'm here to talk about a bridge between arts and business. Traditionally, knowledge and pedagogy has told us that left brain does something and right brain does something, and the twain shall seldom meet. So you actually judge children by saying, you're a left brain child, congrats, and you're a right brain child, congrats, you should go to IIT and you should go to NSD. It's humongous typecasting that we do, and we genuinely believe that this is the situation, this is how things should be. I'm here to talk about a little bridge that I'm on. It's a gorgeous bridge. It connects two beautiful worlds. And the myth is that there's a bridge that connects these two worlds. I think these two worlds are one and the same. I'm here to talk about how art makes so much sense to the business world today. It makes absolute sense, and how the business world must learn from the artistic world, because the business world is no different from the artistic world and should not be. That's my first plea. And the second is the pleas to the youngsters here, talking about saying, when you're planning your futures, don't think that this is this way or this way. There's a way in the middle which is exactly a combination of both ways. So that's my speech today. And I have three very distinct reasons why I first believe that the business world must borrow heavily from the creative world. Before I start my first point, I must tell you that I am on that bridge. I'm on that bridge as an entrepreneur. I'm on that bridge as a creative artist. In fact, I have the strange, peculiar condition of the business world out there seeing me as a creative artist, and the creative world out there seeing me as an entrepreneur and as a manager. So I don't know what exactly I am, but I think I'm just this right genetic code, which is very, very important to be passed on for the future. That's just making me feel good about myself. So I have many such problems in the head. The first point is the difference between personal and professional. Today, the business world is largely defined by saying, this is your professional self, leave your personal at the door. All right, so we have this strange concept called maternity leave, which is basically the business world according the human species saying, yes, maternity is an eventual situation, and we hope you recover from it. All right? And the women in the organization who choose to use maternity leave use it as a process saying, I'm applying for maternity leave, and I'm coming back after maternity leave. Which is great. The business world accords the definition to the woman saying, yes, this is an eventual process and you will have to go through this. But come back once you've done your thing with your baby. Now, in the creative world, whenever there is a little ensemble of creative artists who come together, it is imperative, it is a mandate from all of these creative artists who come into a little project together saying, tell me a bunch of your experiences. What have you gone through? What have you been through in the last 2 weeks that are 2 years that are relevant to this project right now? What are the sum total of your experiences that are going to make a difference to this little creative project that we are bringing together? Do not leave your personal outside the door. Bring it in, mix it here, and make a mess of this, because in that mess, something gorgeous is going to be created. That's what the creative process is all about. We talk about Picasso and we talk about the red period and the blue period because he was going through many periods in his life, yeah? He was going through emotional upheavals of sorts, and it was showing up in his work. But if Narayana Murthy today was to say, I'm going through a bad phase right now, the shareholders will get worried, his wife will get worried, his CFO will get worried, everybody, they can't take it, they're like, oh my God, as opposed to seeing Narayana Murthy saying, oh, this is a new phase in his life. Let's see how he steers Infosys as an organization, which is unacceptable in the corporate world today. If a young manager were to tell his boss saying, sir, I cannot geographically move from my base station right now because I have a peculiar personal situation, it's the death knell for that person from that point of time. he cannot afford to say that. Whereas in the creative world, all of these personal energies is what fuels the entire process. And one never knows what will come out of it. But one hopes and prays that it will push that envelope, break a little slit in the sky, and let the sun shine through. There is a trust to that process. There is a belief to that process. There is a hope and a wish that all things will be even better after this creative project happens. Do not leave your personal outside the door. Acknowledge the person, because the human being as a species suffers incredibly when you see the professional and personal as two different things. We have divorces happening because hey, you didn't give me enough time, because you didn't give the marriage enough time, you gave too much time to your work. This is the plight of my generation. Whereas if corporate organizations or business houses were to see them deploying human beings in their workspace, human beings with the sum total of their emotions, the sum total of the array of things that a human being goes through, acknowledges that beautifully, and then says, you are working for this organization, you are a human resource, the fuel on which my organization burns, organizations can be very, very different. I have somebody from, oh thanks, is that somebody from Google clapping for me? I just met somebody from Google outside who gave them massage chairs. And the rest of corporate India is like, massage chairs? What's up with you? What are you massaging them for? Massage chairs is just an extreme example of making sure that people feel great, but acknowledgement of a human emotion is the simplest and the most powerful thing you can do as a business entity today. My second point is something that instinctively creative world does all the time. It is something that all Indians creatively and instinctively do all the time, is to believe in the unquantifiable, is to believe in the infinite, is to believe in God. Every single Indian out there has some relationship with God. He either believes in God or he doesn't believe in God. In either case, there is something there. Every single individual believes that there is something there out there that is destiny, that is somewhere having some control over it, and he lets it be saying, God, I've left it in your hands, I'm doing the best I can. In the creative world, in any creative mandate, before any project is even conceived, nobody knows what the end is going to be like. And they start that process by envisioning that end. The envisionment of that end is not definitive. It does not have stark boundaries. It doesn't say how high it's going to be, how big it's going to be, how fat it's going to be, and how long it's going to last. They just believe that this is how it should be, and this is what it should do, and it'll be somewhat like this. You'll find a lot of creative artists discussing this. They all believe that they know exactly what they're talking about in the room, but none of them have a clue as to what exactly it's going to be like. And they are all comfortable and happy and feel very, very energized by that process. Because as you go towards it, it may change. And as you go towards it and it changes, allow it to change. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. It's a sum total of our creative efforts. And I trust you and you trust me. And we are going towards an end that can only be good. Because at all points of time, my blinders say that good should happen. For me, for you, my stakeholder, my shareholder, my wife. Everybody. We do this instinctively as human beings by our belief in God. Whereas if I were to tell a business enterprise right now that, what do you plan to do next quarter? Oh, somewhere out there we will be. People get incredibly worried. They break out into cold sweat. I'll give you a simple example right now. That is not how human beings function. Today, if I were to join TCS or CTS or any of these organizations right now, there's no chance in hell that I start the organization by reading the mission and vision, internalizing the mission and vision of the organization, and then going in. It's impossible. Ask any person who's joining Cognizant or TCS or any organization today, including Google, ask them saying, what is the mission and vision of the organization? They'll have no clue. They'll know what their first salary is and when their first bonus is likely to come and when they'll go out of probation and get confirmed. As human beings, if I were to tell you when you were born right now that, hey, this is your name and by the way, you need to improve the next quarter. In 3 years, I want to see some improvement right now. He's going to live quarter to quarter to quarter. Whereas what does a mother say when the child is born? You will be somebody great tomorrow. And tomorrow is many, many years away. And I'm going to help you towards that journey. And all of us deluded little children believe that our mothers must be right and we must all be becoming great people in our lives. Whereas that's not what managers believe. Employee, next quarter, yeah, give me my result right now. There is no absolute belief which says that, hey, you need to believe in that bigger religion, bigger God, and move towards that. My third point is the creative search. Every organization comes against walls which says that, what next, man? I was awesome in the 90s. What is going to be my 2000 plan? Oh, up to 2010, I was great. What's going to be my 2010 to 2020 plan? And these are all thoughts that come from rational thoughts, saying, hey, we have moved into this industry, and this industry has these 3 competitors. We need to beat these 3 competitors and then move ahead. Whereas what is the life of a creative artist like? A creative artist only has a sum total of creativity resident within him. The rest of the creativity comes from reactions to the world, reactions to the social world out there, reactions to the personal world that is all points of time affecting that person, reactions to competitors as well, reactions to so many things which says that I don't know what my next creative process is going to be, but I'm sure it's bound to start now or later because I am a human being and I react to things. Now, what if I told you that Steve Jobs' inspiration for the iPod would not have come from knowing that Walkman exists from Sony and then music exists from somebody and then put it together and we have this? What if Steve Jobs' inspiration came from watching a beggar at a waste paper bar, at a gigantic little garbage dump outside a wedding hall, and that beggar is looking at that wedding hall garbage dump, and he puts together his meal, says, I want a little bit of rice, it's too much rice they're discarding, a little bit of potato, a little bit of sweet here, and I've got my own set meal. And that's exactly what the iPod Nano is. Right? I'm going to just have this much of music and I'm going to put this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What if today, every little entrepreneur and every gigantic business magnate or every little enterprise were to see themselves as saying, I am constantly evolving. Evolution is a constant and I'm going to be looking to everywhere for inspiration as to what my next 10 years is going to be like. And I'm not going to be worried that I don't know it today. Because if I'm worried that I don't know it today, I'm going to be paranoid. I don't know what Sony used to be a digital VCR company, and then they became a music company. What will they be in the next 10 years? I hope to God that they believe that they'll be a kick-ass company, not defining themselves by the category that they exist in. Because a creative artist is just that. Believe me, A.R. Rahman, 18 years back, wouldn't have even envisioned in his life that he'll have an 18-year creative output as a career. It's impossible. Every creative artist believes that it's going to run dry sometime. But I'm not going to worry about that. Because I may run dry inside, but things are going to happen from outside, and they're going to fill me up, and I'm going to react again. That's the creative process. There is a belief in the inevitability that as long as you're a human being, you will create, you will ideate, you will react to the world. And in that reaction to the world is where businesses are born, music is born, theater is born, or any output, anything is born. Today, businesses worry themselves too much about today's stakeholders and shareholders and customers, and there are just too many people to be worrying about. At the end of the day, if a business person does not go out there and say, I want to do this, not for him, or him, or him, or him, or him, I want to do this because it has to be done, because it's beautiful to do, and it's inevitable. If I said this to the business world today, they will jump and kill me. As you all in your rational selves are saying, oh my God, this guy has completely lost it. But it's the truth. That is how human beings function. So as long as businesses are run by human beings, I hope to God businesses also think like this. Because I can't believe that the greatest inventions of human beings came from rational processes saying we need to overcome this now. Flight came from imagination. I want to fly. Not I have to fly. I have to fly. No, I have to fly. Nobody wanted to fly. Everybody imagined flight. And therefore the flying machine was born. Now this is the artistic world. There is no difference between the artistic world and the business world. I operate like an artist in a business world and vice versa. But there are so many learnings in the artistic world that the business world really desperately must take from, because bring a little bit of art into your lives. And do not think of yourselves as left-brained or right-brained. Please do not dub yourself as being creative or not creative. Every business has every right to be creative, and every creative business, every creative entrepreneur, including the folk singer in the villages tomorrow, has to think business. Has to think how he's going to deliver value for himself, because if he doesn't value himself, nothing else will. The business and the art world are one and the same. Please don't fool yourself into believing that it's not. Thank you so much.